Okay, so good evening to everyone, and this time we are starting with the first four openings, gates that the Ramchal is giving out of the 138 that there are in this book. He is starting with definition of what we should believe in. This is what he's starting in the first opening, and the second one is in a way telling us what is the wrong believing. So he's saying that the base to everything is in what we believe. This is what he's telling us. So when we are reading it in Hebrew, he's speaking about the uniqueness of the infinite light, the uniqueness of the infinite, that there is just one force that is existing, and that force, just his desire exists. So maybe to make it easier, if one of you, if you can read loudly the first paragraph of opening one.
Opening one, the uniqueness of his reality, his will, and his control. The infinite uniqueness of
blessed be he.
Blessed be he is that only his will exists, and there is no other will exist but from him. Therefore he alone rules, and no other will. And on this foundation, the whole building is built.
Which means everything that is being created is built on that there is just one force ruling this universe. Now, if we will look into the second opening, it seems to be just a second. It's not only one force ruling over here, because it seems to be contradiction with reality. We are saying one force is ruling. This is what the Ramchal is saying here. Look at reality. Doesn't seem so, because if one force is ruling everything, and that force is the Almighty, and that force is just sharing his all his goodness with us, where is the goodness? Like reality seems to be like contradicting that he is ruling everything. So what the Ramchal is telling us depends on which type of way of looking on reality you have. The way that we need to look at reality is what they're saying here. You want to have the proper building, you need to see that there is just one force ruling everything that is taking place. It's not that the chaos ruling. It's not that the people that are powerful are ruling. It's not the influential people that are ruling, or those that have the connections, the proper connections are ruling, or those that have the proper position in that office or the other office in the city hall or in the government, in the Knesset, that they are ruling. Saying no, there is just one force that is ruling, the Almighty. Just his will is taking place. No other will but his own will. That's it. Now, for us on day to day to comprehend this, it's like a contradiction. We don't live that. We don't live that, because you can see people that maybe older, many years or older life are putting on tefillin, and they can sit in their living room being upset with the government, being angry, which means this is contradiction to what the Ramchal is saying here. Saying if we want to look at things spiritually, then we need to have total belief out of knowing, not out of I don't know, accepting out of knowing that this is one rule that is ruling in every situation in this world. There is no other ruler but him. Now, do you get upset sometimes?
It's a bit like the first commandment. It's a bit like the first commandment.
Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I'm your God.
That's it.
That's it. But
and there's no other, and I'm jealous.
And there is no other. Now, we get upset sometimes.
Yeah.
We never get upset, no? We never get insulted, or our pride is never getting hurt. No one is hurting us. Nachon?
That's not true.
So, that moment, do we believe that there is only one ruler or not? That moment we forgot it. We are not forgetting it. We are disconnecting. This is the problem. We are disconnecting. This is why when there is a story about Rabbi Akiva and the sages, in the time of the destruction of the temple, they are walking and they are in Jerusalem, and they see that from Holy of Holiest a fox walks out. The sages are with tears. They are crying. And Rabbi Akiva is laughing. So they are asking him, why you are laughing? So he's asking back, like a good Jew is asking back, why you are crying? So saying, we are seeing an impure animal comes up from the Holy of Holiest, and we shouldn't cry? Like, look at the destruction. So he's answering to them, I'm seeing a fox coming out from the Holy of Holiest, and I won't be happy? Saying the same thing exactly, but I'm happy because of that. So saying there is a prophecy. And the first part of the prophecy is speaking about the impure animals and the impurity that will come through the Holy of Holiest. So if the first part of the prophecy is correct, because this is what I see in front of my eyes, the first part of the prophets is correct, then it means that the second part is also correct. That we are going to have redemption, and the temple is going to be built. So I see already the temple that is going to be built. He didn't see the destruction. So it's how you look at things. So we are falling. Every time we fall spiritually, because we don't see the Creator in every step of the way, that He is the only one that is ruling. If I mentioned the temple, let's go back to the first temple was destroyed because of bloodshed, incest, and idol worshipping. This is the same three major sins of Adam. Adam and Eve fell into these sins as well. Now, the Maharal is saying, why did they fall into it? Because they did not bless in the Torah to begin with. Which means if you don't learn the Torah properly, if you don't connect with the Torah properly, then you will come into idol worshipping. This was the result, it wasn't the reason. So the same over here. If we do not connect with the Creator properly, then the result is the other things that are coming out. Then we can fall into anger and so on, and it's happening to all of us. So he is telling us the perception that we should have if we want to connect to the Almighty, to understand fully 100%. It's not 99%. There is just one desire, one will exist in this world that's ruling everything. And that will, he will say in the next opening, that will is just good. It's not bad at all. Which means all the incidents in life that we see, and we are thinking that they are bad, they are not bad, they are good, but we don't understand that this is good. This is our perception, this is our problem. We don't see the big picture. We experience the experience, we experience the test that we need to go through. We don't see the picture. And this is why it's essentially, starting with this, is saying the entire building, which means the whole universe is based on that. This is the basics for everything that exists, including the angels, including everything that was created. This belief in one God. And this is what is translated over here. He alone rules. It's not that he created and he left the universe. So therefore, let's go to the second opening, if you can read it loudly again.
Sure. Opening 2, the uniqueness of his control, a desire to do good or well. The will of the delegator, ma'atzil, is that what I say?
Yes, ma'atzil.
Yitbarach is only good, and therefore nothing but good will exists. Then it became known that there was no other authority but him. This is the answer to the question I mentioned above, and therefore the supreme will wants to have the control that might seemingly deprive his of his power, and it is not against the supreme will itself, since he wants so.
Okay, so where all evil comes from? Where all evil comes from, it's because the Almighty, the Prev, is limiting, the Almighty is pulling back, giving room for darkness. It's not that darkness is an entity by itself. Darkness is not an entity by itself. Darkness was given room to exist and to operate by the Creator himself. This is part of the will of the Creator, to pull back and to give room for darkness and for chaos and all that we see. This is part of the process. Darkness doesn't have the control, but darkness, the evil force, is so strong that without the Almighty it's impossible to beat him. Which means sometimes we think, oh, I will trick the other side. I'll trick the Yetzer Hara. I will trick him. I think I will do it. I'm thinking from the ego. He's tricking us right and left and tricking us totally. Which means the evil force have such strength which is we cannot imagine. This is why there are many that thinks that this is another entity by itself. The Sitra Acha, it's called the other side, and he has his forces and his servants and so on. But this force is very powerful. This force is being nourished from our own mistakes. It's getting stronger when we make more mistakes. When we are getting angry, when we are getting upset, when we are hurting one another, when there is all the bad stuff, then the other force is getting his strength from that. Is getting stronger. Now this is why some people would think that beside God that created the universe, now there is another force that taking place and ruling, and it's not just God. This is why I start with the first opening saying, don't think that there is any other force ruling, because very wise people through the history fell into that mistake, thinking that there is another force in the universe. Like there are two forces, God and the other force. No. The other force is the servant of God to manifest things that need to be manifested, because he has servants and there is a purpose for it. There is a nice story associated with the destruction of Jerusalem, when the Romans sent Neron Caesar, Nero, to destroy Jerusalem. You know the story? And he said, just a second, what I'm doing over here? To destroy the most beautiful city, the city of God. The most beautiful building in the world at that time was the temple. I'm here to destroy that? Just a second, what's going on here? So he asked one of the archers to shoot an arrow, but to direct it to the opposite direction, which means, let's say they are standing on the north of Jerusalem, to shoot, instead to shoot south, to shoot it north, not to shoot to the direction of the city. So he's shooting the arrow, and the arrow is doing 180 degrees U-turn in the air towards the direction of Jerusalem. Nero wanted to know what's going on, if there is a decree. So he went to the south, to the east, and to the west. To all four sides, did the same trick. He was shooting the arrow to the opposite direction of Jerusalem. The arrow did a U-turn towards Jerusalem. He said, just a second, God is having an argument with his people. And he wants me to be the messenger to punish them, to destroy the city. And after that, he is going to have a count with me why I did destroy his own city. Bye-bye, I don't want to be the messenger. He left, converted, and from his descendants is Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes in Tveria, from his descendants. Now he said he knew, I don't want to be the messenger to do the destruction. So the Almighty is using the other system, the impure system, to be servants for the purpose, the big purpose, the will of God, which is just good. But in the process, there are servants that are leading the way. So it's possible to go to the right direction because you choose the right direction, or it's possible to go on the right direction because it's too painful to go to another direction. There is someone there with the whip that directs you back to the right direction. So one way or another you'll get to the proper direction. So this is why it's so essential to understand that idea, because if you see it that way, then you're not getting upset with the government today. It doesn't matter if you are from the right wing of the politics or the left. You are not upset with that. You are not upset that they are cheating. They are just messengers. You're not upset with that. Being upset won't change it. Being angry with it won't change it. On the contrary, what said Rabbi Nachman from Breslav? If you focus on the negatives, or on the negative attribute of the other person, you are giving strength to his negativity. If you are focusing on the positive, you are increasing his positive. So what's happening in the world is just a test for each one of us. So is it about what's going outside of me, or is it about me? And the story is, it's about us. It's not about anything outside of us, because everything outside of us is just reflection for me, for the work that I need to do. So this is why it's so powerful, the first opening. It's short. I'm saying there is just force that is ruling. You need to have the proper perception, but you need to have it every step of the way. What comes from the Creator? Is saying it in opening 3. It's just good. It's just to share goodness. But not just goodness, the ultimate goodness. What the Creator wants to give us is the complete and the ultimate goodness that it's possible to give. The complete goodness. We cannot even comprehend what it is till we will experience it. So he's not speaking about that we will feel good, that we will have good time. Speaking about according to the understanding of the Almighty, what is the ultimate good, this is what He wants to give to us, to share with us. So therefore His will is ruling this universe, that we will get at the end to the ultimate good, that He is thinking for us, according to the way that the light can comprehend and what the light can give, which is, if the light is infinite, His giving is not limited. If the light is infinite, the completeness that He can give is not what we think complete is. This is way beyond what we can comprehend, the completeness that He wants to share with us. And therefore, this is why it's necessity to go through all that process in order to get to there. Now, we need to understand, Rabbi Mordechai Shriki from the house of Ramchal that is explaining this, is saying something like that. The Creator the Almighty is infinite, so therefore He has infinite ways how to create a universe. And if He decided, and He took just one path through which He wants this universe to be, and this is the best path for us that He was choosing from infinite ways that He could create the universe. It doesn't have to be that way. If we are speaking about an infinite force, He can create any universe that He wants, in any way that He wants, and any creatures that He wants. So He was choosing just one force from His infinite forces to manifest in that way. It's not that the Almighty is limited.
Or He has created other infinite universes we just don't know about.
No. This is the first and last creation.
This is the only creation?
The only creation. This is an infinite creation, because something infinite won't create something limited.
Yeah, no,
I'll say it again.
you can't have a second one if it's one is everything.
Infinite, the Creator that is infinite is not going to create something finite. For example, if you want to share something, and your pleasure is by sharing, you want to share a little bit or a lot? Because if you want a lot of pleasure, you will share a lot. If you want to have infinite pleasure, you want to share infinite.
Everything.
If what comes out of you is just sharing, and you are infinite, which type of recipient you need to have? Infinite recipient. You cannot have a finite recipient to give to that recipient infinite.
Like the cosmos, no? Maybe like the cosmos needs an infinity recipient.
No, the infinity is not in the cosmos. The infinity.
Maybe also the physical. In the physical world, it's also we don't know where it ends. It continues to grow.
Okay, I'm opening.
Well, it's expanding.
I'm going a little bit.
It's still expanding.
I'm going a little bit out of the line of the openings for a second. I'm going out to say parentheses. We have here the inanimate, vegetation, animal, human being, and Israel, the soul of Israel. The strongest desire to receive, the biggest desire to receive, is the souls of Israel. So that entire creation, where is the biggest vessels to receive the light of God? Human beings. It's not the inanimate, it's not the vegetation, not the animals. They are just a system. This is part of the system to assist mankind to go through the process that they need to go. But mankind is the real desire to receive. All 70 nations. And the strongest core of the desire to receive is Israel. Through us, the process of the real unity, real union with the Almighty need to take place, and we need to help others, all the other nations, to get into it also, to the extent that they can go through. So the infinite desire is not out there in the cosmos, it's right here in Israel. And it's hard for us to understand infinite desire. This is why it's associated together with holiness. The cup is limited as a vessel, but a pipe is not limited, because a pipe has an opening to receive and an opening to share. As long as the opening to share is open, it can receive infinity to infinite time. So the idea of the Creator when he created the universe is not to create something finite. It's to bring to the point in which what meantime seems to be finite is going to elevate to the level of unfinite, beyond finite. And this is the process that we need to go through. And through all the tools that the Almighty gave us, we are going through a process. Okay, I would leave it for later. Okay, so let's go now to opening 3.
In other words, can we say the light is it which sustains the world, but the darkness is what contains.
No, the darkness doesn't contain itself. No.
The place where the light we can see the light.
The darkness is not the vessel. The desire to receive which is the vessel is not the darkness. The darkness is another force in the game to help the vessel to reach its highest point. But darkness is not a vessel. Darkness, as
light.
Einstein said once, darkness is real. Darkness is not real. As, if you can say, hot and cold. Cold exists. Cold is the absence of heat. Darkness is the absence of light. When we switch on the light, darkness disappears totally. So darkness is not real. But the darkness in the universe received power to a certain time in order to assist us in the process. But darkness is not real when we are speaking in the big picture, with the big picture. So darkness is illusion. Okay, please.
So in the beginning, in Bereshit, he first created darkness and then the light. Is that the same thing that we're talking about, or?
The story of Bereshit, it's after that many steps through the process of creation took place. When speaking about Bereshit, about the 6 days of creation, but it's considered in a coded way all the process of all the universes that were created before we came into the point of manifesting Earth with all that we have on it, or all the universes, the stars and so on. There are many spiritual levels that took place before that took place. So it's hinted in the verses, but the Kabbalah speaks way beyond that, because the physical reality is, after many spiritual levels of energy took place, cause and effect, till this reality, the physical reality, manifested. Okay, so let's leave it meantime. So in opening 1, one force ruling everything. In opening 2, he gave room for evil. It's not that the evil is ruling, but the Almighty gave room for that, and only the will of the Almighty is ruling over the darkness as well, which means, if you will say dark times in the history, which time you'll say it's a very dark time?
So in the Second World War, The destruction of all the Jews being killed in the Second World War by the Germans.
The Holocaust.
Wow.
Darkness.
Absolute darkness.
Who was ruling there? The Almighty or any other force? The Almighty was ruling there.
That's the thing.
Some people are asking where God was in the Holocaust. And was there every second, every step of the way. Nothing without his permission could take place. And it served the will of God that eventually the complete revelation of light will take place. And we don't know how it's working, but it is. This is what he's telling us. We need to believe in it to that degree, that the Almighty is in every step of the way, even if in the most darkest places that we can imagine. They cannot operate without the permission of the light, the will of the light. Okay, Rabbeinu Bechaye in the book Chovot Halvavot, Duties of the Heart, that by the way have translation to English. This one, the Klach, I didn't find translation to English of the entire book, but Duties of the Heart, yes. He's saying there that in most of the cases in the physical reality we don't have freedom of choice. The freedom of choice is when we get into a level beyond the physical reality, because in physicality many times we don't have a choice. It's determined for us. Sometimes we do have a choice, but in most of the times no. Which means in which country we were born, to which family, how we grew, who we meet, who we marry. Most of the times we don't have a freedom of choice. We think that yes, but even who we marry, which children we are going to have. Number 3.
Carry on. The purpose of creation, the benefit. The purpose of the creation of the world is to be as benevolent as the good desire in the ultimate benefit, which is the purpose.
Which means there is just one purpose for the Almighty, to give us complete benefits. Nothing less than that. This is what comes from the Almighty. We don't see it, we don't see it.
That is such a difficult way to say that.
Why?
Like I know, it's just maybe it translates badly.
Okay, it could be. Maybe
Yeah,
it's, okay.
Am I receiving, or is it like
I'll try literally to translate it now on the spot. The purpose of the creation is
yes.
to give benefit as is good desire, in the ultimate way of benefit. The idea is to give his benefit in the ultimate way. Okay, this is the idea. This is what comes out from the Creator. Not less than that. 4. Let's go to opening 4.
Opening 4, the disclosure of uniqueness, the way of how God managed the ward and the ultimate benefit. Infinite light, what's PH here? Blessed be He, wanted to be a benefactor of a complete benefit, that there would not even be shame for those who receive it.
Do you understand that? Do you know the concept of bread of shame?
Yeah.
You feel undeserving, is that what you're saying?
If I'm not mistaken, no pan de la vergüenza in Spanish. Yes.
Yeah, the bread of shame.
Bread of shame.
Undeserving.
Being ashamed to receive without earning it. This is when the recipient is ashamed to look to the face of the one that gives him. This is a nature. This is a rule in nature, not just of the human being, in the entire creation. There is a story about plants. When you have a tree and like a vineyard, and you want now to have another one, you take one of the long branches and you put it into the ground. It's called in Hebrew avracha, like berech, like a knee. It's like a knee into the ground, and it goes out from the other side, which means you are covering part of the branch with the earth, and it comes out. Now, what will take place in that specific part under the ground? It will start to grow roots. Now, in the Talmud, they are asking halachically, now you are going to have fruits from that new branch, the branch that comes out from the ground. Now, do you need to wait 3 years before eating from that fruit in Israel because it's orla? or you are allowed immediately to eat from the fruits because it's the continuation of the tree
It's obviously a
before.
machlokes, so you ask the question.
So the question, what is the question here? Is it considered to be a new tree
All the same.
or its continuation? So saying how you would know if it's disconnected under the ground from the mother tree. If the son tree is disconnected, it's a new tree, you need to wait for 3 years. And if not, you don't have to. So how do you know if it's disconnected under the ground? No, you look at the leaves. If the leaves of the sun tree are looking away from the mother tree, it means it's still connected. He is a shame. Still connected. If he is looking towards the mother tree, is not a shame anymore, disconnect us. If the leaves face away, it's a shame to look at the mother tree. A shame to look at the mother tree, have bread of shame.
To connect with God,
Because
you
it's
have
still
to
receiving
connect
from the mother. So bread of shame. When it's disconnected, it's not a shame to look. This is in the trees, which means the bread of shame that he's speaking about, the Almighty wants to give to us everything, all the benefits, all the goodness that He can give. But He wants to give it in a complete way. Now, if we are going to be ashamed by receiving from the Creator, it doesn't mean that He gave us in the most complete way, if we are ashamed. So therefore, you need to create a system through which we will be able to receive without feeling the bread of shame. The system must include situation in which we can earn what we are receiving.
When you focus on the evil,
Yes.
then
You
give
give it energy.
more energy,
Yes.
you give it more force.
Yes.
So my question is, it must be also, when you focus on the good, that you also give it enhance more goodness.
Definitely.
So it must be balance itself out.
It's balances, or even I would say that the positive is stronger than the negative. Because the truth is that the positive is always stronger than the negative. It's just the test that we go through. But eventually, the positive is the Almighty is the positive. Yes? So if we tap into that channel, the positive will be stronger than the negative.
And so the system that we're talking about is exactly that, minute by minute, making those choices. So that's where the free will comes in.
Yes.
So even if you do have been born into a certain family or married to a certain person, or I don't know, whatever your luck in life is, or your panasa, it's all about how your perception of it.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. So this is the bread of shame that we are speaking about, that God created the system through which we will be able to receive without being ashamed. The ruling of the light is not that He created the universe the way that He wanted and He left it. He is managing the universe every step of the way. He is managing every atom, every second, every step of the way. So the system that the Ramchal is teaching in this book, how the world is being managed by the Almighty, is giving room for freedom of choice, but still managing it and overseeing everything. So how the system is structured, this is what he's speaking, and this is the system of the emanations that he's going into in the next parts. Because there is a system to manage this universe, and to manage not just mankind, to manage everything. And this is what he's talking about. The Almighty is managing everything, every step of the way. Which means it's not like some people who say God created the universe and left it and it continues by nature. The nature of evolution or something like that. No, it's not that the Almighty left the world. No, never. If the Almighty would leave the world for a second, everything will go back into dust, will disappear.
The computer, the electricity of the computer, it's all the time giving energy to be alive.
Definitely.
We disconnect the software like that, it disappears.
Or the electricity, yeah.
No.
An example,
Yes,
right?
yes. It's the life force
It's everything.
that giving life to everything all the time.
Every time.
But it's not just
And you
giving
can do good or
life;
bad on that
it's
computer.
guiding it. It's not just giving life; It's not just giving life. It's like the electricity there is
Like the
guiding the program all the time, and watching that the program won't destroy the creator. Which means if we are creating a certain program today, what they are talking about, that we don't want that it will overcome us.
Like allowing artificial intelligence to overtake
Human being. Yes, we think that it might take place. The Almighty won't allow this to take place. So if the Almighty will let the AI to control us to a certain degree, this is for our benefit in the long run. This is the messenger instead of Nero Kesar, instead of Caesar, or instead of that nation or the other nation, or instead of that person. This is the messenger this time. You understand? This is the messenger. But if the messenger would have a little bit power, or a lot of power, or not at all, it's us. If our ego is creating those machines and we are doing it up from the point of view of ego and not for the benefit of other people, and we want to take advantage of certain part of the population because of those systems, then we will pay what that we need to pay. But if it will be done in order that it will be a tool to reveal the light of the Creator and to do good to others, then it won't control us.
So the question comes, what happens when we're getting to the point where, God forbid, this planet can't sustain life anymore, where
once we lost the balance of the universe, and it was the time of Noah.
To be the balance, losing that
In the time of Noah, the balance of the universe was totally disrupted, to the degree that it was necessary to eliminate all animals and all mankind beside few that were inside the ark. But God was promising that something like that would never come again, which means total destruction will not take place. Local destructions, yes, we saw it in Thailand, that there were 250,000 in one time, in a very short time, that were killed. So things like that can take place, but not totally. We are not there anymore. There is a promise of God. Now, how severe it would be, or less severe, depends on the way that we choose to see reality and how we behave. This is the part that we can still have freedom of choice. We can choose. So this is affecting. Now we need to understand that our choices, from what they are being affected, what is affecting the choice of a person, this is an issue for itself. Okay, Rabbi Ashlag was speaking about this, we would leave it for now, but what is the most influential part on our choices? That almost we don't have a freedom of choice. That if we choose that, our choices will be good, or if we choose that, our choices will be bad. What is that thing? There is one thing that is the most influential on our choices. So we'll leave it for now. It's not that God is punishing us. God is not punishing,
Right.
but God is giving the place that we won't reveal it or we won't see it. So if I'm saying, hey God, where are you? It's not God that's disappearing. I'm covering my eyes, my spiritual eyes, my soul eyes, and I'm saying, hey God, where are you? God is everywhere all the time. But we are doing that to ourselves.
So that's a free choice.
So this is the free choice. Now, when we do it, eventually situations like the Holocaust will take place. But it doesn't mean that God was not there. I had a student in Los Angeles that she was a kid in the time of the Holocaust. They took them, their family, they took her on the trucks. It was in Italy. They took them on the trucks, and she remembers they took the truck is stopping. They came down from the trucks. The soldiers were there like a line of soldiers, and they were pointing to them to walk to the train. As a kid, she remembers telling to herself, to there I'm not walking. And she just decided that she is walking away from there. As a kid, she was walking in between two soldiers, German soldiers. She was just walking there. She went out, no one stopped her. And she was alive that in the 90s I heard her story in Los Angeles. And she was a kid in the time of the Holocaust. She just went. God was not there? Definitely was with her. That the soldiers didn't see the kid walking him. So the idea is here that he's saying to us that in order to receive the benefit, we need to, he was created a system that we should not have bread of shame. And through, let's continue.
So where have we got to?
In 4, the second paragraph, at the third line.
And thought to discover in practice his complete uniqueness, that there is no impediment before him and no disadvantage. Therefore, he places this leadership, which he is leading in this reality, all that he created from angels and souls to the Sitra Achra,
And the other side, the evil side.
the evil side, in which will actually be the return of evil for good. This is what initially gave place to evil by reducing to do its own, and in the end everything is already repaired and every evil returns for good, and the uniqueness is revealed, which is itself the pleasure of souls.
Okay, so we spoke about, partly we spoke about this, but he's saying here a very important part. It's not that evil is going to disappear. Oh, the evil people will disappear from the world. No, they are going to be good. It's going to turn to be good. Everything that is evil is going to switch to good. Going to be totally good. So there is a reason for the evil to exist, and it's not that it's going to disappear. Because some people think, oh, these evil people, I wish that they will disappear from the universe. No, the wholeness and the uniqueness of God will be revealed by the fact that the evil will turn to be good. Which means, if I have an evil part inside of me, a bad part inside of me, it's not that it's going to disappear, it's going to be totally corrected and to be good. Everything is going to be good. Everything is going to be good, to switch into good. It's not that the evil people will disappear, we'll kill them and disappear and that's it. No, it's not that if we will kill Amalek, the Amalek disappear. No, Amalek is going to be good, it's going to be holy. Everything is going to be totally corrected. This is the way that it's going to be at the end. This is the highest point of revealing his uniqueness. Because it says about God, in Hebrew it says, Haya Ove V'yeh, was, is, and will be. Correct?
Yes.
But every step of the way, it's the total uniqueness of God. It's not that that God is different from one situation to another. We experience it maybe differently. Or there is another expression in Kabbalah, Echad, which is one, Yachid, which is unique, Umyuchad, special. Echad, Yachid, Miyuchad. 3 situations of how the light is being revealed. One is the Almighty, that is one. Unique, the same force which is one is being revealed in a unique way in each thing in this universe. But it's the same force that is working in a unique, which is a little bit different from other. Which means the light of God is being revealed through an onion and through a potato. It's a unique way that it's being revealed, but it's the same light. Eventually, when it seems to be like being separated, or like, well, let's say more extreme, poison and medicine. Seems to be like it's totally opposite, but there is one. The force of the light is in the poison of the snake, and the force of the light is in the medicine. This is unique because it's like one road, which is a unique road, but it's the same light. Eventually, what will be special that we will see that all the unique ways are all the same. They are going to come back into the oneness at the end. But why it's called Echad Yachid Meyuchad? Because we will experience the oneness, but after that the entire process took place. So it's one force through all the way. We experience it like separate forces taking place, working over here, like it's different things. But eventually we will see the entire picture, how everything is one.
So
The tree, the table, that us, the camera, the book, everything is one. One force is working there. It's not different forces. It's the will of God to reveal His uniqueness. Just that is working there. So who need to reveal that? Who need to switch from evil to good, everything that there is in the reality? This is our job. This is through the Torah that was given to us. We are doing this job, to switch from bad into good, to do the correction to different things that there are there, to elevate things from limited to less limited, which means when we are eating and we are blessing on something, we are bringing the unlimited energy to be revealed in a better way than if it would be without the blessing. Anyway, when a person is eating, his system is structured in such a way to elevate the food to a higher degree, to a higher place. But if it's done with the blessing, so it's taking it even higher. If it's done with intention when you are blessing, you know that the meditation through the blessing, it's bringing it even to a higher degree, to a higher place. It's all directed in that way. Now, if you look into the 10 Commandments, this is what it's doing. It's elevating things from a lower level to a higher level. And it starts, if we want truly to do it, starts with the uniqueness of God. What we start with opening number 1, or as you said, the 10 Commandments, the first one, I'm your God. There's just one force in here. And you shouldn't have any other God, the second one. And these two, we heard directly from the Almighty. The other 8, already you said to Moses, it's too much for us. You speak to God and tell us what He's saying. But the first 2, we heard directly from the Almighty. And this is the first 2 openings here in a different way, in a more spiritual way, in a way, we can say. The inner meaning of it. So, if I want to take it to my life, it's just God is ruling everything, and all bad must be revealed in order to be corrected. Which means, if I want everything to be complete at the end, all the bad need to be revealed. So the more bad there is today, it's better. It's not that I'm happy for it, but it's happening. I don't want to be part of bringing that bad to be revealed. I don't want to be the messenger to reveal that bad, but if it's being revealed, a lot of things that are bad are being revealed. It means that we are closer to the time in which everything is going to be corrected.
Is that the Mashiach?
Yes,
Like
but we need to, in our consciousness, to do some work before the Mashiach coming, because if he is doing the work for us, it will be a lot of pain. But for example, a lot of evil is being revealed. If you look a little bit into United Nations and all that health department that they have, they really want the world to be healthy. They want the people to be healthy. So far from that. So far from that. They are into poisoning people in a way, with medicine. All the medicine pharmacies want to cure people? Never. They want them to be addicted to the pills that they are creating. This is what they want. They don't want to cure people, because they will be out of business. And being revealed more and more today because of the communications that we have today. It's being revealed more and more. We can see how much there is a lot of evil by people that are having the power to control the media, like Facebook and all of that. So a lot of evil is being revealed today. Now, I can be very upset with that. And that when you're exposed the first time to these things, you might be upset a little bit. But we need immediately to go out of it and to say, wow, the Ramchal told us all that evil need to be revealed in order to be corrected. This is part of the process. So then I need to ask what's my function and my job into it. This is the freedom of choice. Can I influence the system? Did they teach us how to influence the situation? How to be less affected in a negative way and how to affect in a global way, in a positive way. Can we do something? The answer is yes. The Kabbalists gave us tools, the tools of the Hebrew letters, the holy language, the meditations, the names. This is why I wrote the book about the names. We can influence the situation. In fact, I know that yes, that small groups can affect if they do it in purity, with simple, in a naive way, not sophisticated way, clean way. If you do it clean and you meditate and you truly pray and you want the good to be benefited, you can affect situations in our world today, to a certain degree, at least. And we did experience it with my group that we used to meet in the synagogue, in the different classes that I was teaching. Now, lately, in the last 2-3 years, I'm not running almost nowhere. I'm teaching just small groups through the internet and here. But I used to go once a week to Jerusalem, once a week to Akko, once a week to Haifa to teach different groups of Kabbalah, and a few days, the other days over here in Ra'anana. Totally booked for a few lectures each day, and we did meditations with all of these groups. And we saw results, positive results, globally. In I would say in things that would be big, in a way that I was amazed, in a way. We were simple people. We were all simple. We were doing it simply out of belief and wanting good to take place. And we did the meditation with the proper names and the right intention. We knew the meaning of the meditation that we do. We knew on what to focus. And when you focus, you get a result, and we saw it. So this is the first 4.